Welcome to the Renovating Riches Radio today with the legend in the Houston area.
In my own mind.
This is a repeat because we had Mr. Ray Sasser with us a few shows ago. You can
It was almost a year ago, probably.
yeah. So you can look
And
it
y'all
up.
still having me come back?
Yes, yes. Because I mean, the knowledge is so much that there's no way we cover it during our first episode with Ray. So Ray, thank you for being here again.
Why do y'all have me pinned in here? I mean, y'all got me like on each side. No way to get out of here.
That's it, man.
No
You're
bathroom
locked in.
breaks. I mean, you.
I'm done when you say I'm done.
Exactly. And for those that are not watching, we are not in our regular studio. We're here from Chevy Bar. Today we have an event, the event in Katy.
Which actually Ray is the main speaker tonight.
So we
Not tonight.
tonight.
Actually today. Yeah, you're right. If you're listening to us in our car, this was recorded a couple of weeks prior too. So
Exactly.
don't drive here.
Expecting to see Ray.
Yeah,
Wait, is
expecting
this
to
not
see
a
Ray.
cool place? This
It is a
really
beautiful place. We love it out here, man. They treat us very well. It's nice and cold. I know it's hot right now outside.
cool. Yeah.
We have a stage back here where you're going to be performing later on.
Performing.
Singing your best hits.
Well, if I'm singing, it's Hank Williams all the way. Sorry, guys.
Right.
I'll run everybody out of here.
But anyways, if you're in the Katy area, you need to go check out this place. It really happens on the weekends. This is a sports bar, but they treat it as a club. So if you come
Right.
here on a Friday night, oh my God, there's
music will be loud and
200
people dancing.
here.
And,
You cannot talk to the person right next to you. We started doing our meetups here in Katy, and I came to buy some hamburgers, which, by the way, you need to try them. The ones outside.
Oh, really?
Oh my goodness, those things will get you. It's like crack. Once you do it once, then you're hooked up on it.
So anyways, if you want to learn a little bit more about who Ray is, go back to that first episode that we covered, how Ray got into real estate
Which,
and all that.
by the way,
It's one of our most
it
watched.
is the most downloaded episode we have, even though it's got the worst audio of all of them.
Yeah. Back
'Cause
then,
that's when we just first bought our new equipment.
and we didn't know what we were doing pretty much.
Right, and we recorded with
So
an
I was
ambient
a guinea
sound.
pig.
I don't think we were trying to. No, actually, we had recorded other episodes, but this time we made a mistake and we recorded with the ambient sound. And needless to say, the person that was actually producing the podcast back then didn't pay attention to details, because on this particular equipment you can record on different channels.
Right.
So
right.
we recorded on the ones we had the microphones on, but also on the ambient sound.
Right.
And she went and grabbed the ambient sound and used it as the main sound.
Instead of the recorder.
Exactly. And then when the podcast was out, I'm listening to it on my truck, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is horrible!" And by the time I go get on the computer, and I see the downloads, and I was like, I cannot take it down anymore, because he had already hundreds of downloads.
Really?
Yes, sir. So your podcast is probably one of the most listened to. We have another guy that kind of beat the record on the ones on YouTube, but we know he's a marketer, so he's out there,
Marketing.
sharing and doing all of that. But
Yeah, I didn't do any of that.
but if
You have to
you
show me how to do that.
if you want to learn real estate and you're in the Houston area, Ray is one of the persons that we look up to when it comes to
Some
asking
people call him
questions.
the OG.
The OG.
What is OG mean?
Original gangster.
right?
Right?
I saw that and I thought, I don't even want to ask. There's no telling what that means.
He's the original gangster, right? So, I will invite you to check out all the meetups Ray's a part of. You guys run RIA in San Antonio,
Alamo Ria in San Antonio, and then we do a Houston Real Deal here.
Houston Real Deal
With
here,
Charles.
which he does with our buddy Charles Nguyen. You definitely need to become part of that meetup, because it is a great meetup. They deliver so much value.
This last meeting was maybe one of the best ever.
Yes, it was.
I agree. It was.
I don't think anybody left there without their head spinning.
No, because it's so interactive. That's so unique about the what is it called?
Houston
Houston
Real
Real
Deal.
Deal. the Houston Real Deal, it's that you go there, you need to be ready to participate because it's like a classroom, right?
I love it because I get to participate.
Yes, even
And Ray,
maybe
Ray
too
hates
much.
it because I participate too much.
Maybe
well,
too much.
I try to hold on to the microphone.
Right.
But then you're pretty good at getting it in your hands.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I was told that the best real estate is the one up front, close to where the presenters are, right?
Right.
I always make sure I sit up front to where, because I'm there to learn as
Where
well.
he can grab the microphone pretty easy.
That's like I love going to real estate things because for 35 years I've been learning from the best people in the game. And you force yourself to sit in front, force yourself to be involved, force yourself to talk to, and I'm a natural introvert, but make it happen. Talk to the guys that are out there doing stuff, and it enriches your life, and it gets you through the up markets, the down markets, and everything in between.
So if you haven't checked out the Houston Real Deal, you need to go look up for on meetup.com. The Houston Real Deal. It's a meeting actually right now. It's at the Black Labrador.
The Montrose area.
Charles and our friend Charles Gwen, he's running it with Ray.
Right.
They've been doing. How long have you guys been doing that meetup for now?
A couple of years.
Yeah, I would say 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and we really don't promote it. We have the Houston Real Deal meetup, and we'll just send a thing out, and we'll typically have anywhere from 70 to 100 people there.
Yep.
And we try to make it interactive because you'll be surprised how smart the people in the room are, but they won't normally tell you things unless you pull it out of them.
Yeah. It's always learning. I mean, this past meeting, I learned so much about what other people were doing that I'm like, oh, hold on, I need to take notes.
Yeah.
So
What's the name of that software again? What's the name of that website again?
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't know it all. We're out there learning and.
Well, we got a recording of that, right?
Yes, I saw it. I actually watched it.
Yeah.
I went on YouTube and watched it. I think the guy that is doing it for you did a
Richard
great
Fields.
job. Hi,
Well,
Richard.
And the thing is, we never got permission from the audience to be filmed, so we only really had it pointing towards the front, which is kind of bad. Because that was a real audience participation type
Right. I think going forward, what you do is either on your meetup platform or you put the disclaimer there.
Right.
If you go to this meetup, you're going to be filmed and photographed and.
Well, and we have everybody sign in, so we just need to have that on the sign-in
Yeah, like a
sheet
disclaimer.
saying if you're here and you sign in, you agree to be on the video.
This is one of the podcasts I get to enjoy the most because we're out here drinking a couple of beers. Ray's drinking water. He lives far away from where we are, and he's doing the right thing. Plus, he's going to be speaking later on tonight.
Well, it's not even 5 o'clock yet.
No, it is 5:20.
Oh, I didn't know.
So it's 5:20. So let's get down to the nitty gritty, man. Ray, if you're listening or watching this, Ray's really somebody that you need to go and connect with. Okay. Now, be prepared to give because this is a very busy man. He's running, I don't know how many different outfits, flipping, you guys don't wholesale much, but rehabbing.
We don't wholesale a lot.
Rentals.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of rentals, a lot of owner finance, a lot of partners. We do fix and flip, with fix and hold, not fix and hold. We're trying to do as much as we can.
Right.
I've got my son and my daughter and daughter-in-law working for me, my wife. So
it's a family
stays
business.
really busy. And then with Alamo Ria, that keeps us busy. If you're in San Antonio on the second Thursday of the month, go there. It's by far the best group in town. We've got over there. We have over 400 members. Y'all can come in as our guests. So we do a great job there. Here we stay busy. You and I, we were working on Sunday.
Yeah.
We went and looked at property on Sunday.
Yeah, which you're buying, by the way, and I haven't sent you the assignment.
That's something very important I want to touch on that point, that Ray has been doing real estate in the Houston area for the past, you mentioned 35 years
82.
at least. Since 82, so do the math.
Yeah.
Since 82, he's been buying, rehabbing, fixing, doing buying
Rentals.
homes, and he still does. And like Ricardo said, this past Sunday, they both went to look at a house that we got under contract, and Ray decided that he's gonna buy it
After he hustled me a little bit, of course.
yeah,
right?
of course. I mean, that's part of the
part of the
negotiating
game, right?
thing, and it's his nature and what we're going to be talking about today. But follow people and try to learn from people that are actively doing what they're preaching. Because there's a lot of mentors out there and gurus that are teaching, the ABC or the A to C of real estate or wholesaling. And when you ask them, okay, when was the last time you actually did a transaction? Oh, it was like 5 years ago, because the last 5 years I've been dedicating to education. And to me, I don't know, that lacks, some substance
Backing. It
there.
lacks backing.
Being, someone that really is up to date on what they're doing, because things changes. Laws change. If we're not up to date on actively doing what you're preaching, you might be teaching something that's not even relevant, because
or it's not up to date.
Ray talks a lot about transactions that he used to do in the 80s and 90s that today are either unlawful or forbidden or.
Yeah.
And
the rules are changing.
Yeah, rules change all the time. Laws change all the time. Dodd-Frank and whatnot. And if you don't actively do this business or any other, then really, what are you teaching? Something that applied 10, 15 years ago and no longer does. So, anyways,
in that last meeting we had where they talked about marketing, what was really exciting to me is that I've never been one of these like Generation X or baby boomer stuff or millenniums, but there's more to it than what most people realize. You see these millennials come in, they were born with a computer in their hand, and they're doing some of the things that they're doing just from a marketing perspective. If you're not on board with that and you're not paying attention, you're going to be left behind. And it's like what they do where they're at, it's sending ripples all through the market. It's changing the market at lightning speed. And if you're not out there with your finger on the pulse and doing stuff and screwing up regularly, you're missing the boat, because life is changing
Your
fast.
CRM used to be a yellow pad.
It used to be a white
piece of paper.
Right.
And then it went from there maybe to, okay, now we got Excel.
Excel spreadsheet.
Right.
Maybe an Excel spreadsheet, and now you can plug in Now you got all the CRMs where the call comes in, it gets logged on the CRM. Then from there you can click a button and the mail goes out and you're like,
and
technology's
these
catching
platforms exist, like where y'all going to go to that event. These platforms exist, and there's thousands and thousands of man hours of programming just to get them to where you can literally walk up to it, start using it in a few days, and be up and running. And it's just the lead generation is just a whole nother.
It's a whole different animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can, I never thought, I saw Facebook as a social platform, right? I connect with my friends. I can see their pictures. Oh, look at Dennis. He's in Puerto Rico having Christmas or whatever in his country, right? Or I get to see Ray going to Cuba on the cruise that you just did. So it's all cool, right? But how about you start selling properties on Facebook? You start collecting revenue from Facebook, which we did. We had some Facebook ads, and we collected some big assignments thanks to Facebook.
Yeah, there's a social side and a business side of Facebook that people don't realize, how big it is.
They said that social media 7 or 8 years ago, they were saying social media is Internet 3. We went from user groups to Google, and then we went to social media. But it's like it was a black box, and we couldn't figure out how to unlock it and use it and actually monetize it. Well, that's been figured out now. You just need to watch what people are doing, pay attention, and people have cracked the code. So it's time to be using these social platforms.
Absolutely. We got to all be on social. And it's okay to still, spy on your ex-girlfriend or whatnot, right? Or your ex-girlfriend is spying on you. Well, for you, Ray, I don't think that's going to happen. You'll be married for a long time. You have a great family and a great wife.
Yes, a great wife.
But, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, Ray. And I think you have knowledge of things that people don't even think they can understand, okay? And what I want to touch about today is about buying properties.
Okay.
You know, you've bought, I don't know how many houses. You've flipped more than 1,000 now. Rehab,
No.
and you
Yeah.
can
I haven't
count.
flipped 1,000.
Look, you can count the ones that you put some lipstick on the pig and
Right.
you know, we count that as a flip because that's a project that was done. Whether it was just one wall painted or a full rehab, a flip is a
Okay.
flip, right? You
Yeah,
flipped it.
I think the difference, and Ray, you know, kind of like,
In Ray's mind.
we sent out a flyer saying that Ray had flipped over 1,000 properties, but I think where the confusion is that for Ray, flipping is fixing the house and then selling it.
Right.
Rehabbing, on the other hand, is just fixing the house.
Fixing the house, yeah.
Whatever you do with
Right.
it, whether you rent it,
Right.
owner finance it, or sell it, that's the, you know, how do you dispose of the property. But yeah, so
Yeah, that's
instead of flip, I get the
You
rehab
put out
part.
1,000 flips. There should have been like 1,000 rehabs because and I know that number is going to be close because like right now we have 4 or 5 going on. We've always had 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. We've always had rent houses coming back and then doing make ready. I've never stopped working with contractors since '82. I mean, so that's definitely in my DNA. I really understand that. The flip can, in my understanding, a flip is where you buy a house, you can fix it up and sell it, or you buy a house and wholesale it. They're both flips. Fix and flip or just flip. Since I've not been, a lot of guys that have got that 1,000 number, all they're doing is they're putting it under contract and they're flipping it out to somebody.
Well, we meant fixing it up.
Yeah.
So, or painting it or
Yeah,
doing
so it won't be in the thousands.
some
It'll be in
sort
the
of
hundreds.
improvement, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was an extensive improvement or a short improvement, they
Yeah.
both count.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's,
Wholesaling, we don't
Yeah.
don't count.
count wholesaling as flips. If we did, then we'll be probably halfway through you. Right? So, no, I think we're close to 300 flips that we fixed. Like
Really fixed.
we went and we're doing right now. How many we got left? 17.
17, yeah.
17 left.
Wow.
But we were at 35. So
That's
I mean,
good.
it is very good,
very good.
that we got half the load that we used to have a few years ago. I mean, a few months ago.
Right.
But anyways, buying properties, right? Which is the right way to buy your property to either do a fix and flip or a rental or maybe an owner finance from your point of view, Ray? I mean, and you know, and this is an opinion, okay? That doesn't mean
Yeah.
that his way is the best way or whatnot. What he's probably going to talk about is what is working for him, right?
Well, I had an opportunity. There's some names out there, and I'll try to throw some of these names out there, people that I learned.
You're
a
more
lot
than
from.
welcome to name them and
Yeah, like Jack.
give me their phone
I
number too.
started out with Jack Miller and Jimmy Napier. Jimmy's still around. Jack Miller was like the king of creative deals. So from almost day one, really about the 4th year in it, I found out who Jack Miller was. Well, it turns out a lot of the alumni around the United States and the world right now were big Jack Miller fans 25 and 35
Is he still
years
in
ago.
business or?
No, he passed away.
He passed away, okay.
Yeah, and you can still find stuff out there by him. The people like Dykes Bodiford and Peter Fortunato. Peter was at everything, and you
I
got
need
to
to
look up
connect with
Peter
him.
when you
Yeah,
go to
because he lives in
Tampa.
Tampa.
Yeah, those guys were creative deal geniuses. I mean, they came along in the 60s and 70s, and that's when buying residential real estate really started getting big. And they just rode the wave, and they were the leaders in that wave. And then, of course, Jimmy Napier wrote that book, Invest in Debt, which is mandatory reading as far as I'm concerned. And you learn how to structure and put deals together, and all of a sudden, deals that people give away from wholesaling. And you think about it, when you do a wholesale deal, you're giving away the front part of the profit and the back part of the profit.
Correct.
In creative real estate, you're keeping that profit. You can give away parts of it. You can give away the middle. You can give away the front. You can give away the back. And just by understanding how to structure the partnerships
Can
and
you
how to structure the
can you
deals.
explain that? Sorry to interrupt you, Ray, but
Well, I'll give you a simple way.
80% of the stuff that Ray does, and I don't mind being upfront. It just goes like whoosh over my head. Like, what did he just said? So if I don't understand it, I guess like half of the people that are listening to us probably don't understand it either. So what do you mean by a wholesaler gives out?
Let's use an example. So why don't we talk about the property you're buying right now, right? Which I don't care how much money you make up front or,
No,
or
that's
in the
a
back.
good. That's a good.
It's a
deal.
great example, right? So let's get on the numbers. So we picked up this property in the country on 1.5 acres. I worked out a deal where I worked, the seller agreed to do owner financing to us with a down payment.
Okay.
And he's a little bit behind on taxes. A little bit is probably a few years because the tax assessment of that property is probably very low. I don't remember what the numbers are, but I think he owes like $3,000 in back taxes, and he's we're gonna give him like $3,000 to $5,000 on the down payment, and then we negotiated a $500 a month payment for 38 months. Okay. The only reason I agreed to that is because he actually had agreed to a lower cash offer. He wasn't that much lower, but I said, look, man, if I can pay you a little bit more, will you be willing to finance it? This is a person that's also probably not good with money. So I sold him on the idea of, look, man, you're gonna get some steady cash flow coming your way, and every month you're gonna count on $500, and for 38 months you're gonna collect that money. And he's like, man, that's better because I know that if I get that money up front,
He's going to burn it.
he's gonna just go to the bank and just make it rain, right? So I called Ray and I said, Ray, I know he loves this creative financing stuff, right? And he's got properties that I don't know if they're similar to that one, but you got property all over the place, right? And I actually didn't show it to Ray. I showed it to his wife. And I was on my way back from the property and I stopped at his house to, I collect something. I can't remember what it was. And Ray showed up but I told Jen, I was like, hey, I just picked up this house in Rye. You know where that is? And she's like, I think it's northeast. So she was somewhere knowledgeable about the area. Just let Ray know. I like it. And I was like, I showed her pictures and I was like, oh, okay. But I was never thinking at that point, hey, maybe they are the buyers. I was just telling her where I was just coming from.
Right.
And then I thought, okay, you know what? Ray likes that creative financing stuff. He's gonna see that this is actually easy money to get because you have a down payment involved to cover up for whatever we're gonna give the seller, whatever is owed on back taxes, and whatever is our fee, which for us is just a little marketing money.
Right.
But in 3 years, you have a property that's paid for, free and clear, 0% interest.
It'll be free and clear.
Okay, in 1 year, he'll have it free and clear, right? So, but I'm not gonna get too much into what you'll do on that end, right? So let's talk about numbers. We're literally selling you the property for I think it's like $34,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Plus the cash.
No, it's less than that.
Well, the note is $34,500 a month times 38. Oh no, you're right.
Yeah. Altogether, you see, I shoot up my assignment here, right?
34,000.
Now, look, I'm a win-win guy, right? So if you win, I win. So it's about $34,000 altogether.
Right.
This is a property that is probably going to be worth ARV 70 to 90, depending on how you slice it up. If you do a second bedroom, will you clear some land and make it? Because it's got 1.5 acres, right?
I'm not going to do much. I might do $5,000 or $10,000 and more. Probably closer to 10, but just depends.
I don't know if the roof needs to be done, to be honest, because I looked at that roof and it looks okay. I don't know if you're going to own or finance it or rent it. So it really depends on which route you take. If I'm the one doing it, he's getting owner finance.
But let's go back to the question. Ray said, as a wholesaler, you give out part of the front profit and the end profit. What does that mean?
So if you look at that deal, you can break that deal up into a couple things. Normally, you would sell it and you'd make your $5,000 or $10,000 wholesale fee. Mm-hmm. So you get your $5,000 or $10,000. Well, the person ends up buying it. he literally could make $50,000 to $150,000 on that property. So you're giving up both pieces. If I was wholesaling it, I might say, give me money up front, but I want some of the back end also. I want to either partner with you or JV with you.
Yeah, which is something I thought about.
Well, a lot of times people don't want to do it just because they don't want to have that entanglement. If it's a partner you can trust and it's clear how they're going to do it, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
The other thing is, where do you get the money for doing this transaction?
Right.
And so the money can come from the cash flow. So if let's say this is owner finance, if I turn around and owner finance it, how many months would I owner finance it for?
It depends, 10 years maybe, 20?
Yeah, let's say 20 years, because that's halfway between 10 and 30. So that's 240 months. I could take a piece of that income stream, like divide that into two sections, 120 months and 120 months. I can take a piece of that income stream, the first 120 months, and just give it to you and keep the back end.
Right.
Or I could take the back end, the 120 months, and say, look, I just want the cash flow for the next 10 years. If you'll put up the cash, right? So you could have came to me and said, Ray, if you'll put up the cash, then I'll take the back end, I'll take the last 120 payments. You get it fixed, you get it running.
Yeah, but the reality is the way I saw it in my current situation is I'd rather get that money for more properties.
Right.
To go put it on marketing and give you a great deal. Because I know if I give you a great deal, guess what's going to happen on the next one?
Right.
You're going to pay attention to what I have. I was like, okay, Ricardo, what do you have next?
Right.
So that's the beauty about dealing in multiple, property scenarios, right?
We just want to be careful with flipping, because flipping is really, it's basically short-term capital gains. So you pay incredible amount of taxes. That kind of property, in my opinion, you just want to hold on to. Those kind you want to hold on to. Like I just went today and looked at two properties near Beaumont, and those two properties, they're going to probably be bought for 150, 200, put 100 in it, and they're going to sell for $500,000.
Oh,
That's
wow.
probably a good flip property, because you're not going to do very good holding on to that property. Flip it, get your cash, and then these little properties like this, just try to hold on to them best you can. Even if you don't have the cash, you can get the cash from the
from our JV partner.
From your partners. You can get the cash from your partners. And let me tell you something you may or may not know. What do you think the odds are that loan will go to term? That 38 months at $500?
No. I know you're going to get it for a lot less.
Yeah, I'm going to end up paying him probably $5,000 for that balance.
Yeah.
I mean, so you just have to know who your seller is.
Right.
And then I may be wrong on it, and it doesn't matter, because the way you negotiated it is I'm going to have a cash flow the whole way. So it was easy to say yes to that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if a property is like out in the boondocks, what I found is those are by far your best seller finance properties, because the person that buys that house is going to owe you a lot of money once you fix it up, or if they fix it up. You need that partner that lives on premises, and the person that lives on premises is the person that's owner financing it.
Right.
So like if Dennis was going to be the guy buying it from me, he goes and checks that property every day. He goes in and out. Where it is kind of in the country, that's the kind of property, if it sits empty, they're going to steal out of it and everything else.
Yeah,
so I'm going to use him as my partner.
But nowadays, you get a little router, you put it there, you put a couple of wise cams that are $50 each, and you're in business. I mean, yeah, somebody can go steal, but you're going to catch their face, the whole 9 yards.
Listen, this is getting very interesting. We promise that Ray talks nothing but knowledge and creative stuff, but we're done with our program today.
If you want to know how the next episode will roll, make sure you tune in onto Renovating Riches Radio. Go find Ray on all the social media. Hit share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll finish the story on the next one.
Yeah, follow us. Next week, we're going to finish here. We're not going to finish. We're going to continue talking with Ray about creating financing, how to make money long-term, short-term, middle-term. So stay with us. Hit like, subscribe, share it, and we'll see you next week here for part 2 or 3 of Ray Sasser.
That's right.
Thanks, everyone.
Boom. Bye.